unfortunately, despite the message coming out of the Kremlin that troops were going to start moving away from the Ukrainian border, over the last 48 hours, we've seen the opposite and more troops still arriving. There's been an anonymous briefing from the US overnight saying 7,000 more troops have moved forward. That's not necessarily a figure that we recognise here in London, but definitely it illustrates that more troops are moving closer to the Ukrainian border. Bridges are being built, field hospitals constructed, and all of that, I think, is quite worrying and goes to underline the imminence of all of this, if not the inevitability. You know, the pictures that have been released by the Russian Ministry of Defense purporting to show armour moving away from the Ukrainian border, unfortunately, our view is that that is inaccurate. It's disinformation. Now, that's not to say that I'm not hopeful that a diplomatic outcome can be reached, or indeed that this is, you know, Russia sort of winding us all up. That, you know, sort of some journalists have kind of suggested, well, what if you're wrong? Well, if we're wrong, brilliant. That means that tens of thousands of people won't die in a major armed conflict. But unfortunately, I fear that what we're seeing is pretty hard to not draw some fairly somber judgments from.